What's going on, guys, and welcome to today's video. And on my last off-road trip here with the 392, I actually went off a decent ledge, pushed the rear metal bumper up into the body tub and caused a teeny bit of damage, a teeny bit of paint damage also. So my last video, we were doing some Metalcloak rear bumper reinforcement brackets, which will hopefully mitigate the flex in the factory rear bumper. Now, continuing on with the attempt to kind of overprotect the back of the Jeep, we've got two more kind of cool parts, or at least that I think are cool here, to get on this 392 before the next off-road trip. Now, this isn't just 392 related. This is any JL Wrangler that these two items will go on. Now, the first thing here is, again, another kind of cool Metalcloak part. Now, this is the rear trailer hitch wiring bracket or skid plate, if you will. Now, we will take a look, obviously, but the rear trailer hitch, if your Jeep is equipped with the factory trailer tow or has had the trailer tow added to it, the factory wiring or connector for the 4-pin and the 7-pin, it kind of dangles pretty darn low, mounted to the bottom of the rear bumper. Now, that's fine and dandy. It does have a metal bracket around it, but the doors are pretty exposed and hang out quite a ways. So again, if you were to go off of a ledge in just the right spot, you're gonna shatter that rear trailer hitch plug on some rocks, on a ledge, backing into something like that. This is a considerably beefier skid plate that should mitigate that issue. The big thing here is that it's 3 times as thick, but it also protrudes out further from where the actual trailer wiring connector or doors sit. So it can't physically get into the plastic trailer hitch plug anymore because it is fully skid plated. Now, this thing does have drain plugs here on the bottom, so even if you go through water, water's gonna drain out. It's not gonna have water sitting up in that connector causing issues. So we'll get that piece bolted on. And then the other piece is a trailer hitch. Now, there are a million different trailer hitch skid plates out there that are all kind of cool and should do what they're intended to do. Go in the trailer hitch and help either protect the hitch, protect the rear bumper, or kind of protect you know, the back of the vehicle here as you're, again, going off a ledge. But all of those darn things are like pretty expensive, you know, $100, $200 for a darn skid plate that goes in your trailer hitch. And, you know, yes, it's worth it for protection, but I didn't really love any of the designs. They all kind of stick out a lot further than I would like them to. And then I ran across somebody on the Jeep Wrangler JL forums running this cheap $40 trailer hitch as the receiver skid plate. And it looked really cool because it tucks up really close. You're not losing any departure angle. It just works really, really well because you are running it in the raise position. So it comes out of the trailer hitch, follows the rear bumper, and basically covers most of the bottom of your spare tire. So even if you came off a ledge, you're gonna land on this very beefy trailer hitch and, again, work as that hitch receiver skid plate, basically, hopefully protecting some bumper and more importantly, protecting the spare tire, because if you, again, come off a ledge, hit your spare tire, all of that force gets transmitted into the tailgate, and if you hit it hard enough, there is guys out there that have shoved the spare tire and tailgate into the back glass, causing the glass to shatter. Yeah, so that can absolutely happen if you're out there getting with it, going off of some big ledges, drop-offs, rock gardens, stuff like that. Now, one quick and easy free thing that you can do also is taking your spare tire pressure down to 0 PSI when you're off-road. So even if you do, you know, bring the vehicle off a ledge, hit the spare tire, you've got all of this cushion basically to give before it's pushing on the tailgate and back glass. So again, I'm probably gonna plan on doing that from now on, now that I'm just being overprotective after getting a little bit of damage. So 0 PSI in the spare tire. We're gonna throw both of these parts on and hopefully be as protected as we can be here in the rear. All right, so here is that rear trailer hitch wiring like we talked about. So you can see we do have a nice, decent metal bracket here, but if you were to, again, come off of a rock and it roll past, you are going to absolutely destroy these plastic trailer hitch, trailer wiring covers here. Those are going to absolutely just explode, come off, be broken, and it not be great. So that's what that skid plate takes care of, is making this bracket considerably beefier and then bringing it out further to protect that connector there. So this is super easy. We've got two 15mm bolts here on either side. This does have a little wiring clip here right there that we're gonna need to pop off, and then we can get this pulled out. All right, guys, so a little correction here. These are two 16mm bolts, not 15, but we'll get our wiring harness popped off the back. Get these bolts loosened up. The inside one is slotted, so you can leave it. The outside one will need to come all the way out. And then here on the back, we've got our harness connector. We'll go ahead and push the tab, and this should unplug, pending it's not full of dirt and grime from off-road. Now, to get the wiring connector out of the existing bracket, all you've got to do is just push down on these metal tabs here, top and bottom. You can use a screwdriver or panel popper to get those disengaged. So once that is out, you can see how much massively beefier that bracket is than the factory. Here's that metal thickness there versus that Metalcloak one that is, again, what, twice or 3 times as thick of metal for that bracket. And more importantly, comes out further on the very front here where you would be sliding off and hitting those two connector or the covers for that trailer wiring harness. So going back together, we've got the new skid plate, we've got our wiring connector. We're going to slide those two in until it snaps just like that. And then just the opposite of removal, we'll get our connector plugged back in and get our single bolt back in. Tighten those up and then we are done. And guys, here you can see where that additional skid plate protection works here. So even if you were to directly land on that, slide off, it's now going to go past the front of our trailer hitch wiring covers and not just immediately shatter the connector and cause issues. It's now very protected front and back and shouldn't cause any issues now off-road. Now guys, last but not least is the Curt 45-34-1 4-inch drop trailer hitch that, again, we are running in the raised position. So we are running the hitch just like this in the raised position, and with a pin in place, we now have a really tucked close rear receiver skid plate basically. So again, even if you brought this thing off a rock across the hitch, you A, now aren't going to hit the bumper, and B, more importantly, aren't going to hit the spare tire. Again, the vehicle could be lifted with this trailer hitch. It's bolted to the frame. You could put the full vehicle's weight here without causing issue, versus the full vehicle's weight sitting here on the spare tire is absolutely going to destroy the tailgate and shatter the back glass. So the combination of this and airing down that spare tire to 0 PSI, you should basically remove any issue or possibility of tailgate and back glass damage here. Now guys, for reference, this is a 35-inch KO2, which we all know run a little bit small. This does have the Mopar tire carrier reinforcement and lift brackets that are moving that spare tire up an inch, inch and a half or so, but this should still work with 37s. When this thing goes off-road, it does get 37s put on and the spare goes with it. And again, we've got multiple inches of clearance here to use when we have that 37 bolted on the back. So this 4-inch drop ran in the raised position should work really well. And again, it is tucked as close as you possibly could. You know, we are fingers width away from the rear bumper. Everything, again, tucked up as close as it can be. And you really are not losing any departure angle with this setup. All right guys, so those are hopefully a few more little cheap small parts that should help save your very expensive Wrangler when off-road. I will throw the Metalcloak part number down there in the description, and also that Amazon link for that Kurt trailer hitch, which works way too good on a JL Wrangler. So go out to your Jeep, take a look at your trailer hitch wiring connector and see if you've already destroyed the doors and ripped it off and need to order a new connector with your Metalcloak trailer hitch skid plate, and hopefully not, and hopefully you can get those bolted on before any damage happens. So with those two other things and airing the spare tire down to 0, this thing should be hopefully ready for its next off-road trip, and hopefully have no new damage, no new paint issues, no new anything with everything we've done back here. So guys, thanks for coming out into the garage today and doing a quick, easy mod that again should save you a lot of money on repairs, and I guess we'll see how they do next time out on the trail. So as always guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.